All right, let's talk about something that's kind of weird when you really think about it. The physics of language? Yeah. Today we're going to dive into a really fascinating idea that mashes up psychology with a phrase we all use. We're calling it the architecture of condescension. So here's the question that kicks this whole thing off, and it really does sound like a riddle, right? Can a short person actually talk down to someone who's taller than them? I mean, physically, that makes no sense. The geometry, the angles, it just doesn't work. But as you've probably guessed, the answer has absolutely nothing to do with geometry or, where you're looking. It's all about perspective. So to really crack this nut, we have to figure out what talking down actually means. So let's just get it out of the way. Can a shorter person talk down to a taller person? The answer is a big resounding yes. Absolutely. But the real interesting part, the part we're going to get into, is how. Because, spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with how tall you are. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to pull apart two totally different things that we get mixed up in our language all the time. Think of it as a tale of two completely different kinds of measurement: height versus attitude. So on one hand, you've got physical height, right? That's simple. You can measure it with a tape measure, it's a fact. But on the other hand, you have attitude, and that's something else entirely. It's all in your head. It's not about measuring a body, it's about measuring an ego. And that brings us to the absolute core of this whole thing. Get this. Height measures bodies. Talking down measures ego. Just let that sink in for a second. One is about feet and inches. The other, it's all about a feeling of self-importance. They're not even playing the same sport. Okay, so if talking down isn't about how tall you are, then what the heck is it about? Well, that's where we get to what I like to call the ego equation. Here's the bottom line. Talking down is really just about acting like you're superior. That's it. It's a pure expression of ego. It's like you're putting on a performance to show how much more important or smarter you are, and it has zero to do with your actual physical position in a room. And what does that performance actually look like? Well, you know the feeling. It's when someone's being condescending, right? Patronizing. Or when they're just smug with that annoying little smile. But the big one, it's when they treat you like you're clueless, like you just couldn't possibly understand what they're talking about. Okay, so we've taken this all apart, right? We've separated physical height from attitude. We've pinpointed exactly what those behaviors look like. So now let's put all those pieces back together and get to the real official definition here. So here it is. Talking down. It's the act of treating someone like they're inferior or clueless, and you do it with a condescending or smug attitude, regardless of physical stature. That last part is the absolute key. It's what disconnects the whole idea from the physical world. And boom, that brings us right back to where we started. But now the answer is crystal clear. A short person can talk down to anybody. I mean, anyone. Someone taller, someone their own height. They could even talk down to someone who literally has to crouch to hear what they're saying. Height just doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, here's what you've got to remember. Condescension has nothing to do with the angle of your eyes. It's not about how you physically look at someone. It's all about your internal point of view. It's about how you see them. And when you realize that, well, that changes everything.